Good afternoon. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive, and welcome to our Westchester Weekly Update. Today is Monday, June 26th, the last Monday in the month of June. We're just about halfway through the year, and at today's update, we're going to hear from the mayor of the village of Mount Kisco, Gina Piconich, who's going to give us an update on things that are happening in that community. If you follow these weekly, you know that every week we have in one of the mayors, either villages or city mayors or town supervisors, to talk about their community, give you an idea of all the things that are happening all across Westchester County. We're a large enough county and diverse enough county to be introduced in these different neighborhoods and different communities. So we're very happy to have Mayor Piconich with us. She'll be up in a second or two. We'll give you updates on some of our basic news information, what's happening with the asylum seeker migrants that are here in Westchester County, where we are with our parks, very extensive program as we head toward the 4th of July Independence Weekend. And we have a special presentation by Samantha Pfeiffer, who is a student at Edgemont High School. And she's going to talk about water safety, pool safety, a very important issue as we're into the summertime months, and also because we've opened now all of our pools and beaches here in Westchester County. Let me begin by highlighting probably the best news, because there's always some good news amongst all the other news, and that is, we've announced this a couple of times before, but beginning this Saturday, July 1st, all B-Line buses will be free, fare free, for the months of July, August, and then the first 4 days of September, which is Labor Day weekend. So in essence, during the summer months from the 4th of July weekend, which is what's coming up this weekend, until Labor Day weekend, you can ride a B-Line bus anywhere in the system without having to pay a fare. That also applies to paratransit, which is the system made available for those who have some disabilities in movement. The opportunity that we have is, this is the second straight year we've done it, the opportunity that we have is to give those who are regular bus riders a bit of a break during the summertime months. Economics are still difficult in the society that we're in. The cost of everything seems to be rising. In this particular case, for the summertime months, for the second straight summer, we're rescinding fares, so that gives you at least a little financial break. It also gives you an opportunity, if you can, to use the bus in lieu of using your car, depending on where you start out and what your destination is. And it's a great opportunity for you to see some of the sites of Westchester County. If you have some discretionary time, the bus system will take you to Playland, will take you to Glen Island and some other locations, and we encourage you to use it. We've had a rise in bus ridership in the aftermath of COVID, but it hasn't risen to pre-COVID standards yet. So we hope that you'll have a chance to see just how the B-Line bus system works, how convenient it can be for many of us in parts of the county. Some parts of the county have much less dense population and therefore don't have the same fixed ride options that you have in some parts of the county. And we're working on the future for B-Line to determine how we might get to a dollar ride scenario in some of those locations where it's very difficult for us to have a bus route go down one road, but we know that we still have mass transit demand in those areas. But for right now, we're happy to be able to provide this service free. We're only one of two systems in the state that have free summertime buses, and we are the second largest bus system in the state after the New York City bus system and, of course, the subway system. So we're very happy to be able to do it. Make a note, starting this Saturday, B-Line buses are free until Labor Day, and we hope you'll make good use of the system. So next up, we have with us the mayor of the village of Mount Kisco. Mount Kisco is a community of almost 11,000 residents, but it really is a hub for its area of Westchester County. It is the commercial downtown area for many of the more rural towns that have some shopping areas in their communities, but really lack the kind of central location that Mount Kisco has. It has a stop on the Harlem line of the Metro North system. Our bus routes come in and out of Mount Kisco, and it has a little bit of that feel, that urban-y feel, but also in a very suburban setting. Some great restaurants in Mount Kisco, great walkable downtown. And if you haven't been to Mount Kisco, you live in another part of the county. I know if you live in those northeastern towns, you've been to Mount Kisco. But if you're elsewhere in the county, you should make a trip up to Mount Kisco. And the chief cheerleader for Mount Kisco is its mayor, Gina Piconich. She comes out of a business background in the community. We're very happy that for the last 5.5 years, we have both entered into new positions that we're now experienced in. I hope we are after 5.5 years. Madam Mayor, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you very much, County Executive. So again, my name is Gina Piconich, and I have the honor to serve the people of Mount Kisco as their mayor. I have to take a moment to thank the County Executive and the Deputy Executive and all of the county staff who make these updates possible. These are really important to keep everybody informed on a weekly basis as to what's happening around the whole county. But the key thing here is the County Executive shares this stage with us, local municipal officials. And in doing so, he actually strengthens all of Westchester. So we really appreciate always your partnership and your leadership. So in Mount Kisco, we refer to ourselves as the Big Little Village. We're just a little bit over 3 square miles, and though we're geographically small, we deliver really big on services. We are a center for commerce, for healthcare, for fitness, and for dining and fun in northern Westchester. Most importantly, we are a wonderful hometown. Our system of government is a little bit unique in that we are both a coterminous town and village. We operate as a town under a manager's system, but we also have the authority under New York state law as a town. Our fire department and ambulance corps are staffed entirely by volunteers. And through a contract with Westchester County, public safety is actually provided in our village by the Westchester County Police. They staff our local precinct and patrol our village. Most recently, when Moody's upgraded our credit rating to AA1, they indicated the village had a very strong fiscal management. You see, we maintain at least 25% of our operating budget in reserves, and we have a capital plan that has us investing more than $50 million in vital infrastructure. That includes facilities such as water and sewer systems that are more than 100 years old. And we do all this while staying under the tax cap. We're a bronze certified climate smart community with 2 solar fields in the village, LED streetlights, food scrap recycling program, and geothermal in our library. And we're recently the very proud recipient of Westchester County's Downtown Improvement Grant. We're consistently identified as one of the more affordable communities in Westchester and one of the best places to live in Westchester. You see, we're a diverse community. An example of socioeconomic diversity is you could actually purchase a beautiful $1 million Victorian home in Mount Kisco, but you could also purchase a 1-bedroom co-op for under $100,000. We have cultural diversity. There are residents in our community that are 5th-generation Mount Kisco residents that immigrated from Ireland and Italy. And we are fortunate to have folks who are more newly arrived to our country and our village, largely from Central America. We also have great diversity in food in our wonderful restaurants. These include American, Italian, Japanese, Indian, Chinese, Turkish, Mexican, Ecuadorian, Guatemalan, and Georgian. So come on up and have a bite to eat. We partner with groups across our community to host events throughout the year. So for example, the Mount Kisco Arts Council hosts a summer concert series. This takes place alternate Wednesdays starting at 6 o'clock in front of Village Hall. Our annual fire department parade takes place coming up July 14th, second Friday in July always. The Chamber of Commerce facilitates a huge festival called Septemberfest, and that's scheduled for Friday, September 8th and through the weekend. And this year, something very special is happening that weekend as well. The 9/11 Mobile Never Forget exhibit will actually be in our village, thanks to our fire department and folks who are donating to bring that to the village, from September 10th through the 12th. And everyone's welcome to come and see that very moving exhibit. Our farmers market is open on Sundays from 10 to 2, and that's through October at our train station. You can follow all of the wonderful things that are happening in Mount Kisco on our Facebook page, which is Village of Mount Kisco, or you can visit our website at mountkiscony.gov. So come on up and visit us in the Big Little Village. Thank you.
Thanks very much. That's Mayor Gina Piconich of the Village of Mount Kisco. Thanks very much, Gina, for being with us here today. Thank you for your leadership, along with the members of the Village Board, and Ed Brancotti, who is the manager up there. And as she rightly pointed out, just within the last few days, we announced our 5 downtown improvement grant communities, Mount Kisco being one of them, nearby Bedford being a second one, and then elsewhere in the county in Dobbs Ferry, Portchester, and Pelham. And so we're happy to make direct cooperative efforts that involve dollars and cents to those communities, as well as the working through, as we're doing now, with local policing and so forth. So thank you for your partnership, and we hope that those of you who live anywhere in Westchester County will become familiar with all of Westchester County. It is really a terrific place to live and to work, and we're not here to sell the place that we live, but it is good to see all the different elements of it. Mount Kisco, and in future weeks, other parts of the county will have the mayors and the supervisors here. So thank you again for being with us. Let me give you an update on the issue of the migrant asylum seekers, which has been a part of our headline information for the last month plus, since the city of New York has sought to place some of the asylum seekers that have come into New York City and swollen their situation in some other locations. Here in Westchester County, as we speak today, Monday in the middle of the day, we have 3 locations where rooms have been set aside and are occupied by those who are seeking asylum in the country. It totals 135 rooms in 3 different locations. There are 76 rooms blocked in Yonkers at the Ramada Inn. There are a total of 35 rooms at Ardsley Acres Motel in the village of Ardsley, and we have an additional 24 rooms that are occupied currently in White Plains at the Central Courtyard Motor Hotel on Central Avenue. The total numbers together, when you add them up, totals a little over 300 people that are with us. We have about 230 some odd adults, and then we have the remaining children in the vicinity of 100 or so children. None of the children are of school age, and in each of these different cases, there's a series of efforts going on to manage the different sites. WestHab is managing the Yonkers site. .go, an organization also contracted by the City of New York, are managing the Ardsley and the White Plains sites. We've had dialogue between the county, the 2 cities and the village to maintain an ongoing understanding of what it is that we have to do to make sure that everything is safe and secure in this area. The county has added efforts through our Department of Health to investigate the health status of each of the different folks who are with us here, provide vaccinations and other medical assistance where it exists so that we can be sure that there's no spread of any kind of communicable diseases. So far, we've had nothing that has become a problem outside of the migrant individuals. And we also have county police and other services to back up to help coordinate different activities, such as English language and legal assistance and so forth. And then there's a great volunteer outreach that's come from individuals in the community that want to help these people and try to provide them with some resources. We're working through the United Way to help make that happen. Our policy has been to try to manage the situation. We've called upon the federal government, as I've expressed now multiple number of updates like this, to provide some expedited work authority, work waivers or whatever it is that immigration applies so that these folks can work, those who are able to work can work. And we've also asked for an adjudicative process that speeds up as well with a court based here in White Plains to help those cases come to the top of the list. So as it stands today, there have been no other placements other than these 3 so far. There's some discussion about what's happened in other parts of the state, and certainly in an everyday media environment, there's discussion about it. But we in Westchester County are managing it. We're trying to do our very best. We've been through this before. I mentioned every time we talk about this that we had 1,000 migrant children here 5 years ago under the Trump administration. We managed that process well, and we expect to do the same thing in this case. Any other updates we'll be happy to provide with you as they're available. And if there's something significantly important, we'll be sure to tell you about that. I'm going to be joined by Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins. We're in the middle, almost in the final stages of the primary process. Primary day, as we're speaking today on Monday, June 26th. Primary day is on Tuesday, tomorrow, June 27th. There are some selected primaries around Westchester County. There are no countywide primaries that require everybody as a voter to come out and vote. The Republican Party has primaries in Harrison and in Yonkers. The Democratic Party has various primaries in Yonkers, in Mount Vernon, in New Rochelle. One of those primaries also includes Pelham as part of this county legislative district. There's primaries in the village of Mount Kisco and as well in the village of Mamaroneck. And those primaries, you can consult your local media. League of Women Voters will give you updated information. There are other ways to get that information, but you should study up on it. If you have not voted early, which just closed yesterday, we had 9 days of early voting. There was no voting today on Monday the 26th. But tomorrow the polls open at 6 a.m. in your normal voting locations. They'll stay open until 9 p.m., and then that will close the voting process. Board of Elections will tabulate the results, including both early voting, absentee voting, and there's still some time for absentee ballots to arrive after tomorrow. So we wait for those to come in. Some may be military voters, some may be individuals who voted postmarked their ballot before primary day, but it hadn't been received yet. So all of that will sort through, and depending on how close the races are, usually within the week we have a good idea of who's won, sometimes the very next day for sure, but then sometimes if the race is close, we have to count all the absentees. Westchester has appeared to be a trailblazer in early voting statistics around the state. We have had a larger turnout of early voting of any county outside of New York City. More people voted in Westchester County than in any other county of New York State outside of New York City. Now, the 4 major boroughs of New York obviously have much higher populations than Westchester does. But Nassau and Suffolk also have higher populations, and we outvoted them in the early voting as well. And as a percentage of all eligible voters, we approached 1% voting early. Only one jurisdiction, the borough of Queens, exceeded 1%. Westchester was the second highest in the state on percentage of voter turnout. Early voting is still a bit of a new thing here in New York State. It's not necessarily baked into the cake. The 9-day period allows people to vote at a time that is convenient to them, and we think that that makes a lot of sense. I know from my own experience in my days in corporate life, I might know that the election day was coming up in 4 or 5 days, and then I had a reason to be out of town on business, and there was nothing I could do about it. Too late for me to get an absentee ballot. So having an early voting scenario gives you a range of time to be able to go. But early voting is over for this primary season. So tomorrow morning, as you're watching this on Monday, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., if you haven't voted and you're in one of those locations, mayoralties in 4 of those communities, county legislative races in 2 of them, village trustees, council races in a smattering of them, you have a chance to have your voice heard. And we're very appreciative to the Board of Elections people, the volunteers, and the hardworking individuals who help manage that process. We know that it's a difficult process, and it's a tense process. We've been through the electoral process ourselves. We know what it's like, and that always can be a bit of a stress. We do have some good news coming up with our parks. We always want to make sure you're aware of the major events that we have coming up. So with some special events that are coming up around Independence Day, our pools and our beaches, and then also where we are at Bicycle Sunday, I'll have Ken give us the Parks and Recreation update.
Thanks, George. And certainly it's with our award-winning, nationally accredited park system that we had, and we certainly had some great things happening. So on the 3rd of July, the annual event that is fantastic, the annual Music Fest and Fireworks is going to be set for July 3rd at Kensico Dam. So we'll have some mesmerizing fireworks and lighting up the night sky at the annual Music Fest and Fireworks at the Kensico Dam Plaza. We welcome all Westchester residents to come and celebrate our nation's independence a day early. Let's make sure to show respect for our neighbors as individuals and admiration for the diversity of backgrounds, traditions, practices, and beliefs that make up Westchester County and make Westchester County a community that we collectively enjoy some music and enjoy one of the most stunning fireworks shows and firework displays at the Kensico Dam Plaza. That's going to start at about 5 p.m. That's the pre-concert entertainment. We'll have our guest DJ followed by the FDR Drive Band at 7 p.m. FDR Drive Band, as County Executive Latimer has pointed out before, is a band that does a lot of tunes and cover tunes. They are excellent. It'll be a great show to be able to see. Then they start at 7 p.m. Fireworks at Kensico Dam will start approximately 9:15. Admission and parking are free, so carpooling is definitely suggested. Concert goers should bring their own lawn chairs and blankets for their seating, as well as a picnic supper. It is absolutely a great event. This is going to be presented by the County of Westchester County Parks and Recreation, and it is sponsored by the Parks Foundation with support from our friends at Captain Lawrence Brewing Company in Elmsford. We know where the Kensico Dam Plaza is, but because of the free buses, that people should take advantage of those as well, because it will be a well-attended event, and we want to encourage everyone to get there early. So again, it's that opportunity on July 3rd, the day before Independence Day, music festival, as well as fireworks that will start approximately 9:15. This weekend we had lots of inclement weather that was mixed in, but you know what? Overall, it was a great weekend for our beaches, parks, and pools. So the beaches and pools are going to be open from now through Labor Day, Monday, September 4th, with Croton Point Beach open Wednesdays through Sundays, weather permitting, 11 to 6:30 p.m., with that last entry being at 6 o'clock. There's no parking fees at Tibbetts, Glen Island, and Croton Point beaches. There are parking fees at Tibbetts, Glen Island, and Croton Park beaches. There are no pets allowed on the beaches in the summer. In the winter, after the beaches are closed, then people can walk their dogs on the beaches. But during the summer, while the beaches are open, no pets allowed. At all of our county pools, proof of Westchester County residency is required. That's at the 4 county pools that we have at Saxon Woods in White Plains, Wilson's Waves in Mount Vernon, Sprain and Tibbetts Pools in Yonkers, as well as the Glen Island Beach in New Rochelle. The other 2 beaches, Croton Point Beach, you do not need a valid license, and we had a great opening of the new bathhouse at Croton Point Park, and you could get to see our cricket pitch as well. Saturday, July 1st, we're going to have the DJ that will be at Saxon Woods Pool, then followed on Sunday at Tibbetts Brook Pool, and we'll continue with the major efforts that we have with our Parks, Recreation, and Conservation groups. July 1st, on Saturday, we're going to have the morning farm chores for kids at Muscoot Farm. That's going to start at 8:30. There's a small fee involved in that up at Muscoot Farm. And then Sunday, that's going to continue. So this Saturday and Sunday at Muscoot Farm, Al Del Bello Farm as well. So the Sunday from 8:30 in the morning, and again, a very small fee, $25 for a group of 2. Visit muscootfarm.org to register, and that's going to be fun at the farm. Sunday, July 2nd from 9:30 to 2:30, and every Sunday through November 19th, we have the farmers market up at Muscoot Farm. You never know whether you're going to see the county executive at one of those particular farmers market, but the Somers Farm market is farmers market is a great event. Finally, we don't have any Bicycle Sunday this coming weekend because it's a holiday, but you should know that Bicycle Sunday, because the county executive's order to be able to extend Bicycle Sundays throughout the month of July, except for this upcoming Sunday, because it is part of the holiday weekend. But then follow through that, Bicycle Sundays every weekend from 10 o'clock until 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the beautiful Bronx River Reservation. Bicycle Sunday is Westchester's most popular traditions, and it is exciting that we were able to have additional days because the county executive said we should make sure to do that for all of our county residents. Again, in the beautiful Bronx River Reservation from Main Street in White Plains down to Scarsdale Road in Yonkers, right at the Tuckahoe border. It's a wonderful opportunity to be able to get out there and exercise and enjoy your beautiful park system. And we'll turn it back over to George to continue on with the wonderful events that we have.
Thanks a lot. Just to continue some of the parks events we have, we'll highlight very quickly. Ken and I this past Sunday were at the African American Heritage Festival that was held at Kensico Dam. It's the continuation of a series that began almost 2 months ago now. We've had the Polish Heritage Festival, we were at the Asian American Festival and the Albanian American Festival, and we've got a bunch more coming up. We go a week plus, since next weekend is Independence Day weekend. Sunday, July 9th, the Hispanic Heritage Festival will occur at Kensico Dam Plaza. These are all 12 noon to 6 p.m. They're almost all Sundays, or a couple of Saturdays spiced in. But Sunday, July 9th, Hispanic Heritage Festival. A week later, Saturday, July 16th, the Irish American Heritage Festival. That one is going to be at Ridge Road Park in Hartsdale, located very close to Central Avenue in in Greenburgh. Then the weekend after that is the Italian Heritage Festival, Sunday, July 23rd, back to Kensico Dam Plaza. Sunday, August 6th, the South Asian Indian American Festival. Then on the 20th of August, the Jewish Heritage Festival will be held at Kensico Dam, and we close out our series on Sunday, August 27th, with the Muslim Heritage Festival at Kensico Dam Plaza. So we embrace all of the many ethnicities of Westchester County. Here in the United States of America, the slogan in Latin was E pluribus unum, out of many, one. So we are one county, we are one nation, but we all have our heritages. We have our music, we have our dance, we have our food. We have the opportunity to buy different products. We have vendors for all of these things. It's a great festive time, and you don't have to be one of the ethnicities to enjoy it. So far, we haven't gotten to Irish or Italian yet, so that's coming up for me. But it's been a wonderful time. We encourage you to come, and we just hope we continue to have good weather. We had great weather this weekend, and we hope to have good weather in the days to come. Next up, we have a young lady who's with us here from Edgemont High School, and her name is Samantha Pfeiffer, and she's here with her dad, and she's going to give us guardian tags, which will be distributed at county pools. As you know, we now have 5 county pools. They're all up and opening and operative. This is the first time during our 5+ years where all 5 have been up at the same time. Playland Pool underwent renovation. We had to reopen Spring Ridge pools after many years of being fallow. And then we had Wilson Woods Pool that just had to undergo some renovations. So we now have 5 pools up and at them. We have 2 beaches, and they're all fully underway. And Samantha has been able to create a program and a project, and this is an example of something positive coming out of a tragedy. Always very difficult, but this young person, 16-year-old rising junior at Edgemont High School, hasn't just sat on the sidelines as a young person. She's actually gotten involved and done something of great importance. So Samantha, come on over and tell us about it. We're very happy to have you with us here today. Thank you.
I'm thankful to be here as well. Drowning is not a readily spoken about topic. Until it happened to my family, we were never warned about the reality of drowning. The truth is, you never think it's going to happen until it happens to your family. When my sister Sage died, she was only 2 years old, and that was when my family learned that the #1 cause of death in children ages 1 to 4 is drowning. We can't let this happen to anyone else's family, so we decided to take initiative. We developed the Water Guardian Foundation and are focused on a 4-step approach to implement layers of protection. Our 4 pillars are to educate, prepare and remind, partner, and sponsor. The first layer of protection is education. Education is all about knowledge, and knowledge is power. And knowing that the #1 cause of death of children ages 1 to 4 results in agency. Another essential fact is that drowning does not occur during so-called swim time, but rather when children are not supposed to be near pools of water and adults are otherwise engaged with bagging groceries or at parties talking to their friends. To address this and prepare adults, we came up with a simple solution to keep people alert and also serve as a tangible reminder to help with the reality of drowning. This is a Water Guardian tag, which hangs around a trusted adult's neck, just like it's hanging around my neck, to designate them as a so-called Water Guardian tag. The Water Guardian, who is in charge of watching children, is supposed to be wearing the tag while children are swimming, but also whenever children have access to water. Because, as I've mentioned before, drowning doesn't happen during designated swim time, but it happens everywhere, and it happens in seconds. The third pillar of our organization is partnering. We are partnering with important stakeholders to spread our message by distributing flyers and Water Guardian tags from pediatric practices to nursery schools and swim programs. We have given out over 5,000 Water Guardian tags, and we do not intend to stop. Our next benchmark will be 10,000, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to deliver 500 Water Guardian tags to you today to be distributed to our county. Lastly, we learned of an innovative program called Infant Swimming Resource that teaches children ages 6 months to 6 years to save themselves if they find themselves in the pool alone. We are offering to sponsor children to participate in this program. I thank you for this and any other opportunity to spread our message to get Water Guardian tags into the hands of families with young children. Please feel free to take tags, and I appreciate your time and attention.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's Samantha Pfeiffer, a rising junior at Edgemont High School, and we thank her very much, not only for having the poise to be here and talk about this program, but to find a path through a tragedy and then save other lives by the work that you're doing. So, Samantha, thank you very much. We appreciate the tags. We make sure they go to good use and that it will protect other young people. I'll share a story which I have shared before publicly, but it's my own story. I was 11 years old, and I do not know how to swim to this day, and I did not when I was 11 years old. And we went over to Glen Island, the county beach at Glen Island, a group of us from Mount Vernon. We were young kids, 11, 12, 10. Most of my friends could swim, but not particularly great swimmers. And like most young boys, we were horsing around in the water. And we were on the edge of the water. I knew I couldn't swim, but at a beach, you don't quite know the topography. And as we were fooling around and chasing each other, I got into an area in which the water dropped, and I got in over my head. Had it not been for a lifeguard that fished me out, I would have ended my time on this planet at age 11 from a drowning incident. But it wasn't in the cards for me to lose my life at that stage of the game, so I was very fortunate. And now, by giving out these badges to those who can be guardians, hopefully there'll be more fortunate stories and less tragic stories. So, Samantha, your family, we extend our condolences for the loss, and we extend our congratulations for doing something so positive out of this and doing it together as a family, but also doing it at a young age, Samantha. So, thank you, and thank you for sharing your story with all of us here today. Samantha Pfeiffer. We just want to wrap up our report by indicating that if you have insomnia, we will cure it for you this Thursday when I give the State of the County message at 6 o'clock. We moved it up early, not to give me more time to talk, to make sure that there's time for dinner afterwards. But normally these state messages, it's the State of the Union by the President, the State of the State by the Governor, local governments have State of City, State of Town messages. We're giving the State of the County message a little later than we normally do. And of course, COVID threw us off of our usual beginning of the year strategies. But because of a number of different reasons, we're giving the message in the middle of the year. So we've had a chance to see how the first 6 months have gone, what we project forward. I should mention that these types of addresses are intended to be messages from the executive to the legislative body. So 6 years ago when I began this is something Ken and I both had talked about when we competed for this job, that we wanted to take it from outside of a public arena where it had been more recently and bring it back into the legislative chamber. So I will be delivering that address this Thursday at 6 o'clock. It'll be on Facebook, maybe on News 12, we'll see. And I'll be speaking to the Westchester County Board of Legislators, giving them the update, but it's shared with everybody so that you can get a sense of what we see as the things that we have accomplished and what we consider to be the unmet challenges. And we are never satisfied. We're Americans. We're never satisfied with how far we've come. With whatever achievements we have, there are more things that represent unmet needs, and we'll try to address those of how we see them happening. From the calendar clock of county government, we operate. Our fiscal year is coincidental with our calendar year. So we begin our budget process in the summertime as we prepare for the fall. We present a proposed capital budget to the Board of Legislators in October and an operating budget in November. And they have through the end of December to finalize those budgets, make modifications, and vote for them. Usually that happens around mid-December. Then as the executive, I have the opportunity to veto things if I see fit, and they have the opportunity to override those vetoes. So far, we haven't gotten to that point in the budgetary process. We have been able to, since this is a fiscal document, not a policy document, we've been able to have our budgets on time. So it is timely for me as we begin the summer to talk to my colleagues in the legislature. They are colleagues, they are friends. We have our agreements and our disagreements. We have different structure responsibilities, but to sort of lay things out where we are in a host of different ways. The speech is by definition longer and more substantive than you would normally get in an update. And I know that our mindset nowadays is if somebody speaks more than a couple of minutes, you can't handle it. It's too much, it's too many words. I don't understand it. And I appreciate that. We take our time in the update. Most of the time, if we're out in the community and we're saying a few words, we keep it to a few words in a couple of minutes. The state of the county message isn't intended to be that. It is intended to be substantive, so that we talk about things in an important way, that the legislative body hears it, and then as we go forward, we'll work off of our perceptions, their perceptions, and then try to get to some good public policy. We welcome for you to listen in, and if my dear mother were with us, she would probably listen to every word. Most people won't, but it's there for you if you want to. This is a democracy, and democracy gives you certain rights. but also makes you have certain responsibilities. And one of those responsibilities is to be committed enough to understand what's happening in self-government. And it's confusing. There's a village and there's a town. There's a school district, that's a form of government. And then you have a county government, or you live in a city. And then there's the state and the federal government. It's a lot. What's the alternative to democracy? We don't want to find out. Every government known to mankind has found out something of what happens when one individual or a handful of individuals makes those decisions and you have no role to play and you have no ability to see what's going on. So we have this democracy. We're almost 250 years into it. It is a democracy that is always in the process of being perfected. We will never be perfect. We try to get better every year in the way we run the town, the village, and the county, and the city, and so forth. But it does require you to express some time and energy and effort to study, to listen. And so that opportunity will come up this Thursday, 6 o'clock, as we deliver the State of the County message for Westchester County. With that, we thank you for your time and attention. We'll remind you again, buses are free as of Saturday. That next Monday, a week from tonight, we have the big shindig at Kensico Dam Plaza, as Ken pointed out already, fireworks and music. Get there early so you can get parking because it's going to be a madhouse. And if you can take Metro North to the Valhalla train station, do that because that'll save you a lot of grief getting out of there when everybody else is trying to get out at the same time. We'll continue to monitor the progress of migrant asylum seekers, and we'll report on that every week when we have these updates. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive. Thank you for watching. Have a good and safe week, and prepare for a wonderful Independence Day weekend.